Okay, welcome to the Build with Build Agent Challenge. I'm Phil Swan, and you are live with me on the Value Pattern channel. So I'm going to talk to you about the challenge, and I'm going to show you what I'm thinking, and I'm going to win some swag, I think, and everyone's going to learn about the Build Agent that is now available on your Zurich personal developer instance, your PDIs. Let me switch screens a little bit. I've got a shout out to Mark Ruthoff. I've stuck the unofficial live coding happy hour t-shirt on, and it's been a while since I've been live. Let's switch this over. So the Build with Build Agent Challenge from the ServiceNow community. I'm Philip Swan. I'm a certified master architect and ServiceNow 5 times MVP. I'm working for Rangu, who are a specialist risk and security elite partner based out of EMEA. I like a bit of music, cooking, gardening, and I also like building and reading. And actually, I wanted to just make a quick mention to the book by Christopher Alexander, The Timeless Way of Building. It seems completely appropriate to mention this this book right now as we're building applications. Christopher Alexander also has a book called The Pattern Language, or A Pattern Language, and this book is very closely related. And it talks about a timeless way of building and how it makes us feel when we build things, and that innate nature that we have in us to constantly be constructing. So recommend it. It's also available for audio, for listening as well. But let's get into a bit more detail on the Build with Build Agent app. I think, yeah. Let's see, can I move? I can move my camera for a moment. So it started on the 12th of November. It's running until the 24th, and we're going to be using natural language prompts to build an application. You can share this on your socials. I'm sharing it right now. We're live on the Value Pattern, and you will win some swag. And if you want to know more about the challenge, you can check out that link, devlink.sn/build with build agent pop-up. So some key takeaways. Number one, you've got to watch Earl, see what he's up to. So I've got the video in the wrong place, but create your prompt, and I'm going to walk you through the prompt I've worked on today. And then we're going to build with the build agent. We're going to run that prompt. We're going to see what happens, and then we're going to review it. Maybe we'll iterate. Now, there's only 10 prompts available on your PDI, I think within 30 days. So I'll show you briefly. I'm not sure if one of my prompts has already been used, but this is going to be the first time I've used Build Agent today. And I've got a prompt I've been working on. I've got an idea. I'm going to share that with you. But we'll get into it right now. Jerry, thanks for joining. This is the first time I've been live on the channel for a long time. So excuse any bumps along the way. Great to be here. Great to have you. So I went into the developer site. I've logged in and I've got a PDI set up here. And I typed into here, start the Build with Build Agent Challenge. And that took me over into my the ServiceNow IDE. I've just upgraded it just now. So it took me in here and it told me I've already used a prompt. So I don't know if that counts. Am I down to 9? I'm not sure. So hopefully you've watched or checked out the link from Earl and the community team who has talked and shared some really great information about how this challenge works, how Build Agent works, and how to build a robust prompt. So we've only got 9 prompts. I'm going to assume 9 to play with. We don't want to use them all up before we've built our application. Now, I did watch quite a few of the community events last week in the community week about Build Agent, and it looks incredible. I'm really excited to try this out. So thanks, Jerry, for joining. Let me show you what I'm thinking. So I've got an idea. It's called Genadata, and I've talked about this before on the community. I've exchanged some communication with a few people that have tried to do a similar thing. So I thought, what a great opportunity now to see if Build Agent can really help with this. I've had a go at it before, so I'm going to try today. Let's just frame the problem before I get into walking through the prompt. So Genadata is the name of an application that I created in order to generate demo data. Now, when you're working as a ServiceNow developer, you're in a sub-production instance. And quite often that sub-production instance has been cloned from production, and not all of the production data has come down into that sub-production environment. And even if it has, at that point in time, it's like cryogenics on your instance, because it just is frozen in time. And all of that data in terms of transactional data like incidents, if you're doing ITSM, or maybe your agile stories, or any part of your platform, your service catalog, HRSD, whatever it is, whatever you're using, has frozen in time. And now you're trying to develop, you're trying to build, and you need some demo data that isn't out of date. So Genadata should, I hope, be able to give us a solution where in sub-production environment we can create some scenarios, we can create some personas, and we can bring our demo data back to life. So it's not stagnating. It actually starts to move through those life cycles. So that's the idea, that's the problem. Okay, so I will get a message. Jerry's telling me in the chat that I will get a message once I get down to 5. But I don't really want to get down to 5. I want to see if I can do as the Store Army would say, a one banger. So if I can do this in one prompt, let's see. But I expect we'll iterate a couple of times. I'm going to keep this stream nice and short, I hope. Let's see what happens. So Genadata, imagine, I'm going to look at this from a GRC perspective, but it could also be from a SecOps perspective. Maybe you're working on installing some vulnerability response, some scanners. So those scanners are looking at real information out in your infrastructure. Obviously, bringing that production live scans into sub-production has its challenges. But equally, we want that data to move around in development environment, in test environment. So vulnerability response is a great use case here. Also, from a GRC perspective, I might be trying to, if I put on the hat of a GRC administrator, I might be trying to construct some indicator templates. So I want to monitor the data. I want to know that my incidents are being closed in time, or my changes are being approved. So there is some source data in here. Let's say source table. So this would be the source, like incident, problem, change. I'm assuming a task-based a task-based scenario here. So that table will have a life cycle as well. So if we think about things like the state model, it's going to be to do, doing, done. That's quite common. You know, if we think about Kanban, if we think about taking tasks in, ingesting them, working on them through a queue, and then they're done, they're complete. In task, in the world of work on ServiceNow, a task is done, it's complete, it's closed, it's inactive. We put it to bed, we forget about it. So that life cycle, that table is going to move through its life cycle. Now we do want that table to be tied to something of significance. Now typically in GRC, we're going to be talking about an entity. I'm going to assume we're using the CMDB, but it could be other areas of the common service data model like location, department, etc. So any of that information is going to give us access to the data from a GRC perspective. So we can start to look at that information. Let's call this a task table as well, just to be a bit more specific. So that entity is going to look at that record and say, show me all my open incidents where my CI is, or my business application is X, Y, or Z, or all of my incidents in this location. So we'll get access to it, but we want this to move through the process. Now, it's that life cycle from a ServiceNow GRC risk perspective and a control perspective where we anticipate the record will move through its life cycle. And that's a control. We want things to be done. E.g., we want a change to be approved before it is implemented. So that is a control. Defining something in your process is in itself a control. Monitoring that that process is being followed and adhered to is where GRC really comes to life. So an indicator in GRC is going to take a look at that data and make sure it is following the process that we expect. So this is going to do continuous monitoring in here. So this is my use case, but it could just as easily be any other situation. If you're a developer and you're building an SLA, for example, you need that SLA to move through its life cycle. Maybe you want to trigger notifications. So we should be able to map out or build an application that can map out a life cycle based on a certain set of personas and tasks. Now, it's also going to require some interaction with users, but these users are going to be personas, and these are typically our process owners or at least process operators. Okay, so this is going to be e.g. an incident assignee, something like that. So just take a sip of water now. So I'm doing a lot of talking and I've got my ServiceNow water bottle here. So that's the use case, that's my picture, that's what's going to hold us to it. And I always like to start any kind of build activity by framing the problem, making sure we understand it. And I've talked about this in the community session I did, how to build apps and influence people. Thanks to everyone who was involved in the community week, all the community team that set that up. It was absolutely amazing. Everybody who took part, all of the community that watched the content, interacted in the chat, on the community, etc. And all of the presenters as well. So I'm going to go over to my prompt. Now what I've done, I've taken from Earl's article, and if I just go to my history, I've actually created a story that has tried to capture the use case that we're looking at, because what I'm hoping for is that we can use Build Agent as an agentic AI sort of assistant that's going to help me. I'm working on stories and I've got them in the backlog. Now I'm going to take them through the governance of the software development lifecycle. Maybe once they get to ready, the Build Agent could pick them up. That's what I'm dreaming of. That's what I'm thinking about. But right now I've got one in here. So ability to generate and bring demo data to life. Now, as a ServiceNow GRC administrator, I want indicator templates based on realistic process data so that risks and controls are continuously monitored. And I've just written in there some acceptance criteria. Now, this is an abstract form of the problem because we could address this as a ServiceNow developer. I just want real data. So I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of a GRC administrator here and saying, look, if I'm going to build some indicator templates, I want to test them first before I put them live in production. How can I do that if the data isn't moving around? So Genadata is the solution to this. Now I've got the prompt down here in a Scrum task, and I actually copied that in from VS Code. So this is taken from Earl's robust template. Let me just move myself over here and say, you are building the following application. So the primary objective to bring demo data to life. Some success criteria in here. I want to be able to specify the personas for the lifecycle, and I want to be able to specify the record types and the process lifecycle that I expect against them. So I've tried to put some definition into this. I'm calling it Genadata. I've got some core capabilities, what the app must be able to do. I don't know what Build Agent's capable of. I've watched other people do it, but I've not tried myself. And really, I encourage you to give this a go. Fire up your PDI, check out the challenge, and have a go. But you've got 10 prompts. And if you post it on socials and post it into the community following the challenge, you'll get a t-shirt as well. So who doesn't love a bit of ServiceNow swag? Again, shout out to Mark Ruthoff for the unofficial live coding happy hour t-shirt that I'm rocking today. Hopefully I'll get to jump on the channel with you, Mark, and someone else, and maybe that can happen at some point. So I've got 3 tables I've called out here. First one's persona, second one's the life cycle, then the life cycle step. Okay, so within a life cycle, I'm thinking of a life cycle like a scenario. So imagine like an incident that gets raised and resolved. But what about an incident that gets raised and escalated? So some of those different paths can be handled in a life cycle step. And then a life cycle run table to actually track and manage and document the context to show you what happened with that particular life cycle run. I'm expecting that I've put in here under flow designer, under automation, a flow designer will happen. So I'm anticipating a flow designer will hold on to the context. And I've set in here a kind of maximum number that we want to have running at a time. I've tried something down here to say, use this story to record the progress and even go into the story and create a scrum task for peer review, set it to ready. So we want the build agent to actually be accountable for the work that is being done as well. But that's the prompt. That's what I'm going to run. Any questions in the chat? Anything that you're thinking about there, Jerry? Let me know. If not, I mean, I did think, could I tell the this annoys me when it's a reference field and it's read only, and you don't get the default link to click on. So where's my SNU tools? I'll go to view data and click on story. That will let me click it. Always useful. Thank you, Arnold, for all you've done with SNU tools as well, keeping us efficient. So can I ask build agent to just work on my story and check out the prompt in the scrum task? Should we give it a go? Should we use one of the prompts for that? I'm tempted. Let's have a go. I have a story which I want you to use. It has a scrum task which contains the robust prompt I want you to run. I want you to use to track this build. It has a scrum task which contains the robust prompt I want you to run. Please ingest the prompt. I wonder if using please and thank yous is good or bad. I did see that KitKat had said that take a break first. So apparently AI is better when you tell it to take a break first. Take a break and then don't know. So I have a story. Please take a break and then ingest the prompt from scrum task. Let's see if this works. I don't know if build agent apparently has context, so whether it will access the task and ingest it effectively, I'm not sure. But let's try it. I've written it all into the scrum task. I've told it what to do in there. So let's have a go. We're running. So if anyone's just tuned in, let me move myself out of the way of the prompt. So it's running a query. I'm building an app called Genadata. Let me see. I found the story. Now let me search for the scrum task to get the detailed prompt. Well, this is great, isn't it? I'll help you retrieve the information. Key requirements: build the app called Genadata. So this is going to generate live demo data for me. Should I have asked the agent? I'm thinking this now. Should I have asked the agent to also produce a number of scenarios for me once it's constructed the application? Actually go in there and populate a few scenarios based on what it knows about incidents or whichever lifecycle record I choose. So let's see what happens here. I'm really interested because there's nothing like the buzz of your first prompt, I think. I'm not sure if that first prompt counts. When I went into the developer website, developer.servicenow.com, and told the interface there, I want to start the build with build agent challenge, it seemed to fire a prompt into my build agent. So I'm not sure if that counts. We'll find out. I'll ask the team if they can confirm that as well. It's not clear what prompts do count. No, it's not, Jerry. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to everyone who's watching right now. Let's see what's happening. So it's creating my Genadata app. I will. I don't want to move away from the screen because it's quite interesting just watching it. Oh, there's a button here. So let me start. It's asking me to approve. Okay, so I missed that. There's a button, so we shouldn't look away. Although they do say that a watched pot never boils. Right, something's going live here. Something is happening. So I'm in the ServiceNow IDE. I haven't used this much at all. I've watched others use it, but this is really my first time in the IDE. And I believe it's like a web-based version of VS Code. So we can see it's running all of these. It's basically, that's the command prompt access, I guess, on the instance or on the node where this is running. So you can actually see exactly what's happening at the time. And I can see on the left-hand side, let's see what happens if we click in here. So this looks like when we used to be able to spin up the ServiceNow SDK, wasn't it, for building like custom components. This looks very similar in here. So node modules, VS Code, and now. So yeah, I'm not overly familiar with this. I've used it a few times, done a bit on there for the Hacktoberfest a couple of years back as well. Thanks to everyone who's tuned in right now. Really appreciate you taking the time. Welcome to my channel. This is Value Pattern. I'm Philip Swan. I'm a certified master architect. I'm working for Rangu in EMEA, and I focus on risk and security projects. So the use case today to build a demo data scenario lifecycle manager. So my demo data in my development instance is brought to life. That is what I'm asking Build Agent to do. So you can see up here, oh, okay, I'm scrolling now. The Genadata application has been created with a scope. So let me get the knowledge sources. Let me have a look here. Okay, so it tells me what it's looked at. It's imported. It's created the lifecycle table. Okay, I don't know how good that table was when I specified it. So I did put into the prompt, the lifecycle table. It's funny that it started with the lifecycle table, even though I said table 1 was the persona table. Oh no, it started with the persona table. Okay, so sorry, I'm just trying to play catch up with the interface here. It's my first time, so this is my first proper prompt. So it's created the persona, it's created the lifecycle. So it does do it in order of the prompts as well. So that's pretty good, especially if you're thinking about creating relationship tables. You probably would, or references and so on. It probably makes sense to do that in a certain order. Creating the lifecycle run table. Oh, we've got some diagnostics. Got a bad red cross there. Run diagnostics. Let's see. Let's see what's happening here. Run diagnostics. So integer column is declared, but its value is never read. Okay. Persona integer column. Not sure what that is. Did I ask for an integer column in persona? No, I didn't. So not sure why it's done that. Lifecycle step now choice column is declared. So my prompts maybe have not been good for that. So let me fix these issues. Okay, so it's automatically fixing the issues for us. That's amazing. Document ID configuration, yes. So because I want this to be, let me move this out. Because I want this to be attached, so I keep going the wrong way. I want this to be attached to any record in the system. The the table is defined at the life cycle level. So if I go back into my Visio diagram, so my life cycle, oh, it's refreshing. Click that into edit mode and can I zoom? Yep, okay. So my lifecycle record is talking here. This is a source, and this is actually using a document ID because I want my lifecycle to be attached to any record in the platform, really any task. I do want it to be attached to any task. So we can select which table, and therefore our source record is a document ID. If you're not familiar with document IDs, they're a very powerful way of creating flexible references. I've highlighted for anyone who's just joined this book. I'm listening to it on Spotify at the moment, but Christopher Alexander is a legend in the world of architecture and pattern language. So a timeless way of building seems appropriate to recommend here. Let's go in and see what's happening. The lifecycle step. So it's using, so when it told me up here document ID, I think that's what it's referring to. There's a need for the document ID to be dependent on the table so it knows what field to be select. How many prompts have I used already? Jerry, well, I think this is my first official prompt, but I did go to the developer site and type something in there to say, start the build with build agent challenge. Is that a prompt? I'm not sure. So I'm assuming 9, and now I'm down to 8. That's what I think. So I do like this schema in Fluent that's now being adopted for the IDE. You can see here the dependency table on table. Let me run diagnostics. So has it been able to fix it? Edited, fixed, payload before. It seems to be struggling. Let me remove the unused import. Okay. Oh, right. So the errors there was the fact it's pulled something in and not used it. So it's not necessarily about my table, it's about how it's constructed it. So it looks like it's working. Let's have a look at the roles it's created. So I asked it to create roles based on the table and the CRUD, so that we get really granular roles. And that is a way of having absolute flexibility. So you know as well, from an auditability perspective, you know what access a certain role has because it will inherit the table CRUD role. So for example, my persona table will have a persona reader. So I know the persona reader can read the persona table. The persona user should inherit the persona reader. Obviously, they won't be able to use the records, but the user will be able to write, create and write. And then I created a manager that can delete. Sometimes you do that with the admin, but the user really needs the create and write plus read. But sometimes we only want read access. So this is the same across. So this looks good. It looks like it's followed the instructions and understood them well. Probably for lifecycle run, it wasn't necessary. But named ACL. Did I mean ACL? Maybe. I guess. I don't know the difference there. Did someone say naming convention? Has my stream frozen? Jerry's saying. It doesn't look like it from my perspective. Let's just check. I'm going to switch over to my audio is showing up. My screen. Hi Jerry. Hi everyone. I'm Phil Swan. I'm doing the build with Build Agent Challenge for the ServiceNow community. I'm going to talk to you about the application I want to build, which is Genadata. It's going to generate demo data in a sub-production instance based on scenarios that I'm going to paint for it. So I'm back now. Maybe there was an error with the stream, but let's kick into this one. Excellent. So I'm scrolling through, seeing what's happening. So it looks like there's some default stuff in the ACLs. Not sure what happened. No, Jerry, nor am I. Oh, I've got Chuck Tomasi in here. Shout out to Chuck. He is one of the personas. So it's actually created the personas for me. I did ask it to create some demo data. And it has created a demo lifecycle scenario for incident management. Okay, so I forgot what I asked it to do. I constructed this prompt a little bit earlier in the day. I had a bit of a break when I was packing. So let's have a look. Did it create? Does it do that naturally? A lifecycle should run. So I don't know. I don't know if I did ask it to do that or if it's done that because it wants to. So it looks like OBS is telling me something. So yeah, I'm using OBS here. I was using StreamYard before, but I couldn't justify paying for something that I wasn't using because I've not been doing live streams for a little while. But maybe I'll do some more. Let's have a look. Demo lifecycle. Fixing the personas field, which should now be properly formatted for a list column. Okay, nice. So I've got some data. Let me run a build check to see if everything is working correctly so far. So just going to check, getting some notifications here. Let me just... Let me just check in on LinkedIn as well. I'm getting some notifications on there. So thanks to everyone who's dropped by. I don't have the ability to stream to LinkedIn as well as YouTube at the moment. So let's take a look at this knowledge source. It's using business rules. It's created a directory. What does that mean? Okay, import, current is valid, life cycle. What is this? Populates. So is this a... Oh, lifecycle utils. Ooh, I mean, I didn't talk to the agent about naming conventions. I wonder if it's created a utils script include just to wind me up. Logs persona, export function. It's quite neat the way it's doing this though. I'm not familiar with Fluent at the moment, but I can see this catching on for sure. If it changes to persona state updated. Okay, so it's complete. Let's have a look at this bit. This is a bit more user friendly. So I've made significant progress. I like that. That's what we want to hear on a stand up, isn't it? That's what we want to hear from our build agents on a daily stand up. How's it going with your story? I've made significant progress. That's exactly what we want to hear. That's exactly what it's all about. So building the Genadata application according to your requirements from the story and the task. So far I've created. So we go and have a look at our story and see if this is updated at all. I don't see any work notes in there. Obviously I can't navigate straight to the story, but I can come in here. I don't see any updates. Do we see any new tasks? Refresh list. No, I don't see. Okay, so it's not. You know, if we were in a daily stand-up and someone says I've made significant progress, I look at the story and I say, okay, can you add a work note to your story then, please? Yeah, it's all good telling us about it on the stand-up, but story hygiene is very important. So let's talk to the agent about that shortly. Let's have a look. Granular security roles. I mean, it looks good. This is what I asked it to do. I've got a question for build agent. Could I have done it quicker? I'm not sure that I could. Demo data. It's nice that it did that, including Chuck Tomasi. Hey, Chuck. Still need to complete. Okay, business rules, remaining ACLs, flow design. It's nice that it's giving me this kind of, this is what I've done. This is what I'm doing. And this is what I'm planning to do next. Would you like me to continue building? This will finish. Yes, please. Is this a prompt? Is me interacting now? Is this a prompt? Does this count? Yes, please, build agent. But first, please provide an update on the story directly in the work notes with a high-level summary and create a Scrum task to summarize all of your development. I think this will be a prompt. Yeah, Well, it's asking me though, Jerry, so I've got to make the most of it. I think this will be a prompt. I agree. Build agent, but first, please provide an update on the story directly, as you are a role model to your fellow developers. In the story work notes, please provide a high-level summary and also create a scrum task to summarize all of your development and track that so we can monitor progress, and then continue with the build. Monitor progress, please. Let's put this in the high level. Please provide a high level summary, including an estimate of when you think the work will be completed. That's what every Scrum Master wants to know, isn't it? So we've got to ask for that estimate. When's it going to be completed? It's a great update, but when will it be ready? Then continue with the build. And let me know if you have any further questions. Great work so far. Thank you for your efforts. I don't know if we motivate the agent by giving it praise. Let's see. So I definitely would like you to continue. I think they are really on the right track here. This is exactly what I want to see from the application. So it's running a query. What does that mean? Table query. Okay, it's looking at the story. Oh. He's going to create a record. I don't want the agent to create a record. First, I need to check if I can directly create a record for updating. Oh, he's going to create the Scrum task. Yes. Okay. Story equals story is not a valid query. Let's have a look if that's happened. I don't know. I'd love to see it. No, it looks like it's only going to happen in the commit. I believe that's what I'm sort of reading here. So, does the gratitude make a difference? I don't know. I mean, I think it's important, but I guess I saw something about a new schema language for interacting with AI models called Tune, rather than JSON, because apparently JSON is consuming additional tokens because of all of this extra text, and there were some jokes online to say that Tune is basically CSV with headers, because it's just really a list of elements separated by commas. So if JSON is consuming tokens, I'm guessing gratitude and the P's and Q's may also be consuming tokens, which has a footprint on energy and consumption at some point. But we know that it's important, I think, to have good manners still. I like the way that there's a space after the comments there. That from my style preferences, if you're commenting, I like to put a space there and create a little bit of breathing room for the people that are reading this. So missed one here though, missed one there. Would that fail a peer review? I'm not sure. So let me run one final build to make sure everything's included properly. I can see lots of things are happening here. I saw stuff popping up as well. Tabs were opening, closing, so we can actually see our app on the left hand side, what's been constructed. So we can see in Fluent, we've got all of these parts. We've got the server, lifecycle utils, tsconfig. Let's have a little click in here. Okay. I don't know what that is, but it seems interesting. Maybe that's part of the automation. So we've got in here, what's it, generated lifecycle business rules. Got business rule. Okay. I'm still looking at it, not necessarily reading it clearly, but I'm skim reading it and it looks good to me. So subcategory here. What's this? Incident step initial triage will be populated. You see, I haven't had to think about what an incident should be doing. So the fact that the build agent's got access to the context in the instance, I think is really powerful. So thanks for sharing, Jerry. Thanks for jumping on the stream, Jerry. Always appreciated. Thanks for everything you do as well. If you're London based, if you're in the UK, check out the developer meetup. Jerry puts a lot of time and effort with the team to organise these developer meetups in London, and they've been going, I think, really well since Jerry's been getting involved. So thanks, Jerry, for everything you've done. It was great to see you on stage at the World Forum in London as well, sharing the stage for the keynote. What a moment. Really good stuff, Jerry. Love to see it. Okay, so it's building and perfect. Let me create the deployment documentation and build summary. But first, deploying the application. Okay, I need to click approve. I feel like these buttons are a little bit hidden here. I'm kind of reading. I don't know. Should they? I feel they should be slightly over on the left here. This is where I'm expecting to interact with them. I know here I've got the control. I don't know. Maybe there's some primary and destructive coding that could appear. I think because it happened earlier and I didn't realise it was waiting for me. So I'm going to click approve. Go, agent, go. Let's see what happens. How are we doing on time? Oh, we're nearly at time, so we need to see how this is going because I want to wrap the stream up within the hour. I know I've added some extra narrative. We can see something's happening down here, getting messages. I love the IDE, by the way. I can really see myself getting into this. Learning the Fluent structure, I think, will take some time, but this takes me back quite a few years where I saw something like this, where it was possible to create components. I think it was when the first command line was being proposed or built out. So this is an evolution, but it's very much sort of like JSON. It looks pretty good. It's just learning the schemas for the relevant components, I think. So let's have a look. Perfect. Oh, it's complete. Right, it's telling me he's updated the story. Let's check, because I hear this from devs all the time. I've updated the story. Okay, let's see what kind of work notes we've added. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. This is where build agent is going to tell me. Oh, no, I'll get the message coming up now. So build agent's going to tell me that. Oh, there is a Scrum task. Excellent. Although it didn't give itself a number, it didn't give itself a type. So it's giving me another message here. What happened? I thought I clicked the number. Scrum task. Excellent. Look at this. Amazing. I'm really happy with that. And it's using emoticons. That's fun, isn't it? So business rules, giving me a summary. Target, end of current session. In the next 30 to 45 minutes, confidence high. I mean, this is what we need to start asking for from our stand-ups as well. Not just an ETA, but a confidence level as well. But I'm really impressed with that. So I like the diligence there. Obviously, the number is not read-only, and I guess that's why. Let's go back to the agent. Let's see what's happening. So it's telling me the table as it's created. Did I create? Yes, that was for me, Jerry. The build agent user there. I just did that. Just so it looked good for this demo. It's not a real user, but I did actually I did set it as an AI agent, so I just did that for it to look good. And it seems like it had the right trick. I'm sorry. By the way, I use vertical tabs because of Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams loves to put the sharing dialog at the top. And if you're sharing your screen regularly, like I do, you're doing demos, show and tells, or walkthroughs, you end up firing up Microsoft Teams, doing a share, and then you can't change any tabs when they're in the middle of the screen because of that sharing dialog. So I know you can move it now. They added the dots, you can drag it out the way, but I'm now on vertical tabs, and there's no going back for me. It's great, but it can be a little bit confusing for people. So this is looking good. Persona manager, lifecycle manager. We've got some administration, key assumptions made. So table structure, standard fields. Yes, but I hope. Oh yeah, I wasn't extending task. I didn't extend task. I want it to connect to task. Security model, implemented a 3-tier hierarchy for maximum flexibility as I requested. And it did some demo data. I don't know that I asked it to do that. And created a 5-step incident lifecycle as a baseline example with conditional branching. Use JSON format for field templates to provide structured data generation. Success criteria met. Okay. Confident. Next steps for a peer review. The application's production ready for peer review. That's a bit of an oxymoron, is it not? Is there any items on there that you noticed that is new that we may have missed? I'm not sure what you mean, Jerry. So ready for peer review and user acceptance testing. So does that mean it's deployed? It says it's got links here. Let's go and have a look. Personas. Okay, so it had the number, it added the number field, but it didn't add the default value to get next object number padded. I've done this concept of personas against the real user. So what I'm anticipating is that the persona can kind of act as the user from an ACL perspective if that user's got roles, but this is kind of an extension to add context to it. And I've seen in places where user table's been extended and it's not necessarily the best result. So this is like a union of the user table rather than an extension, but it's created these personas, which is really great. So let's have a look at a record, see what the form layout looks like. Should I have gone through the workspace? Did it give me a workspace? Let's have a look. Lifecycle runs to monitor execution. Let's have a look at the life cycles. I'll see if there's a workspace in a moment. Hopefully it's added a related list. What I mean is that where build agent listed the output, is there any items on there that surprised you? The demo data, I don't think I asked it for demo data. No, because the demo data I'm talking about is what the application is for. So I didn't ask it to create demo data on the new application. It's done that off its own back. It hasn't added the related list, so let's do that while we're in here. Edit this view in Genadata. Okay, I didn't go into the app. So lifecycle run, lifecycle step. I think we want both of these on here. It's nice that it has got those available though, so clearly the table schema has worked. So it's created some lifecycle steps, but not attached them to the lifecycle, it seems. Going in here. Yeah, so it hasn't added them to the lifecycle. Let's just do that now. I hope everyone knows about the double asterisk, right? So from a reference field, obviously what I've just done here, list edit, I've clicked in, I've held on a Mac command, it's control on the Windows. I've got all of those rows selected, so I'm doing a list edit here. I double click, it edits all 5. And I don't want to click that and pop it up and go into a new window because that is, oh, did I just close my entire browser? I did. Oh dear. Bear with me. That was extreme. That was extreme. I hope it doesn't ask me to log in now. I've just got to reopen my dev instance. Just reopen the developer site. So it was in here that I typed something and it popped up. So it's going to ask for my MFA. No, is it? No, that's all right. Good. I'm already in. Okay. Did it create me a workspace? It didn't create me a workspace. Let's go to IDE. So it's now IDE. So it's the IDE for Fluent, but once it's been deployed, then I'll go to the studio. Is that how it works? Yeah, okay. ServiceNow Studio. Let's go to ServiceNow Studio and open up Genadata and have a look. And I also want to go back to my records where I was. So I was looking at those lifecycle steps. I was just showing you about list edit and why I prefer list edit, because I don't want it to pop up that form or opening a new window. So I do a list edit, a click, a drag, a double click. Now I can just do 2 asterisks and it searches into the table for me, and it will just give me the option. I know there's only one record on there anyway. So yeah, the demo data was surprising to me, Jerry. Let's have a look what we've got in Genadata. I like that, by the way, my instant scan collection. I bet Mark likes that, Mark Ruthoff. If you want to know something about instant scan, check out Mark's content. He's probably done more than most in the community that I've seen, at least. I'm saying that subjectively speaking. So user interface, it didn't create anything on the workspace. I'm sure I asked it to in the prompt. So let me have a look. User experience in a workspace that allows, I didn't say create one, allows the appropriate user to define personas, create a baseline. I did. I told it to create a baseline example. Okay. For incident scenario with an incident manager that includes Chuck Tomasi with multiple personas. Okay, so I did ask that. I just wasn't sure about it. So let's have a look at this incident management lifecycle. It has got order in there. It has separated them by 100. So I did ask for that to do. So let's have a look. I've also put active flags on here because the idea being, it's funny that it did, state active, but I thought yeah, active here. So state active, draft active, inactive. Yeah, I don't know. I guess a life cycle could be sort of something that you want to have set up at different times as well. So you could have a life cycle for sort of end of month, and it goes off again. But the idea in here was for scheduling. So you could say that I want this to run every hour or every 2 hours. That's what that means. Every 2 hours. And allow 3 maximum at a time. So it should come in here and check every hour. What scenarios am I running? None. So go and start a life cycle. So go to the incident table, and at order 1, this should create it should create an incident. Oh, nice! I like this template format. It did tell me it used JSON, so it will create a random user. That's caller ID is a sys ID, so putting random user in there isn't good. Category, that's a choice. It will need a single option, so I don't know how it would actually go through there. In short description, so this is a short description of this step. So an incident goes in, system issue reported, and then description, help desk receives and performs an initial triage. So in this view of the step, what I probably want to have is the next step that's going to occur. It's nice that it marked this as a script field because it's JSON, but I told it to put a type of template. So that's not a data type that's actually available. uh, it's kind of hidden, but you can do it. If you look at sys template, it uses like a condition builder, but slightly differently, where you can actually write in um, your template. So that's what I was expecting. But it's used JSON here. Probably I'd prefer the template field from a user administrative perspective. It hasn't tied that field name to be dependent on the target table. So I've got a lifecycle table that's coming from the lifecycle, but it could be that I want to target the table, and that's not selectable. Show target table. Base start equals true. So base start should be task. Maybe that's why it's looking read only. But I want to match it to the target, but then also be able to create like subtasks or something. So if it was a story, if my life cycle was a story, I want to use life cycle steps to be able to create scrum tasks, for example. But I've definitely got the makings of a good application here, and I like it. The challenge is in the logic. It doesn't seem to have put much into that part of things. Let's have a quick look at the studio. Did it create any flows? Server development did some business rules, log persona state changes, populate lifecycle. Yeah, it didn't create a flow designer for me to manage that. So I could probably go to the agent. How do I get to the agent from here and tell it to, I'm in Studio, not IDE, hold on. So tell it to metadata changes. I don't know what that means. Sync. Oh, I'm not doing that. I'm not setting up Git right now. Peer review looks good. But I would like it if you could now create a flow designer. Should I tell it flow designer? Am I specifying the solution too much? The thing is, I'm now writing an unstructured prompt. So I saw, Jerry, you asked, was the prompt written by me? Well, that's from the community article that Earl shared. It's called a robust prompt template. And as you'll know, if you've worked with AI much at all, things like ChatGPT, although this is using Claude Sonnet, I think it said. It did tell me some, yeah, Claude's 4 Sonnet. So the prompt is the most important thing. And if you're setting AI agents up in the Agent Studio, for example, you build your prompts out with certain context. Like you want your agent to take on a certain persona, for example, and that's all formed in the prompt. So there's like a default position that the agent will take if that's what you've given it to work with. So I've taken this template and then I've written the content of this in. So this is my idea. This is an application that I've tried to build in the past and I've got somewhere with it and it works. But I thought, let me see what build agent comes up with. And actually setting up my tables, that sort of scheme I didn't have in the past. So I do want that flow to work. So let's have a look in here and see if we can leverage that prompt. So peer review looks good, but before we can sign it off, I would like you to complete the automation of the life cycle steps so that the data, the demo data, is actually being generated on the schedule defined within the lifecycle settings. Let's just send that in there. We're going to wrap up very shortly. Right, we've done, I think, if I look at the time, I'm not sure how I can see that from here. Oh, we've gone just over an hour of streaming, so it's about time to wrap this up. Let's just do one more prompt and see what we get, and hopefully this is enough for the ServiceNow community team, once I've written my post and shared a link to this video to claim my t-shirts. And hopefully this exercise has been useful for other people. If you're watching it, you feel tempted now to fire up your PDI, start building with Build Agent. Check out Earl's post, check out all of the information that came out of the community week as well. And I'm sure you'll be getting hands-on with Build Agent very soon. Let's just see what happens with this flow. It's quite a complicated set of logic that I'm asking it to do here, but it's not beyond the realms of the possible. But we've got to take that abstract nature to be able to define a process and a life cycle scenario of a given table and expect us to be able to define some randomized conditional paths, because an incident doesn't just go created, resolved, closed. There'll be back and forths and so on. So being able to define those in the abstract sense against an incident table, maybe against a problem table, a change table, service catalog table, so that your data starts coming to life. Think about vulnerability scanning and so on. I'll be able to pass this over to the GRC administrators for them to build their indicator templates. And those indicator templates can actually start to look at and see controls passing and controls failing because of the way we've coordinated the life cycle and the data. And we'll have that life cycle run just to track and check the context. So I think the idea is pretty solid. I think there's a real strong use case for this. So if it gets to a point where it works, I'll stick it on the share site so other people can download it, or I'll fire up a Git and publish that so people can fork it. We've got some stuff happening on the screen. Very exciting. Thanks, Jerry, for tuning in and taking part in this build challenge. I think you should get a t-shirt as well, just for being on the stream. That's my vote, Jerry. Let's see what is happening here. So now I feel like I've got to constantly monitor what's happening down here and scrolling down, just in case it has a button for me. So there is a little bit of that, I think, cognitive load that I'm feeling as I stand here working with the agent. But this is vibe coding, I believe. This is my first time actually vibe coding. So it looks good, I think. The expected type comes. Let's see what it's actually doing. It's doing a scheduled script. So it's doing business rules. I'm not asking it to do business rules. I'm hoping it fires up a flow designer, to be honest with you. Scheduled script, is that going to be a scheduled job? Or is scheduled script a scheduled flow? Interval minutes, demo lifecycle, run every 15 minutes. This is looking good. Chuck's getting another shout out there. You can see Chuck in the chat. Let's have a look. I need to fix the personas field in the lifecycle. I've already fixed it once already. The issue is with how I'm defining the personas field data. Let me fix this by changing it. Okay, so this is what I was hearing from the team when they were doing their Build Agent sessions on the community week. They talked about that kind of live checking, that context, that diagnostics, and actually this is really great to see that it knows not just what it's doing and what it's done, but what it's trying to achieve and whether it's on the right path to get there. So it is quite inefficient, but it's probably very close to reality, because as developers, that's what we do. We don't know exactly how to get to our end path. We do know where we're trying to get to, and we'll try a few things, and we'll take a step, and then we'll assess it and see if it's what we needed. There is an audio cue. I don't know if you heard that, but there is an audio cue that I just heard that's told me that there is a prompt now. It's saying it's done it. So what does it think it's done? let me run the diagnostics to find the issue. Okay, server, lifecycle orchestrator now. So that looks, delete scheduled scripts. Let's let it deploy. Let's see what happens. So I don't know whether I should be clicking this button now. Sync and build. I feel like, yeah, it wants. I'm going to click that off. Oh, so did that not work? Did I tell it not to? Installation was cancelled. Now assist trial extension. I should have said sync anyway. What's happening here? The deployment requires a metadata sync. Proceed with the deployment. Yes. Just get in there. I wonder if that's a prompt. Does that tell you? Okay, deploy, approve, sync and build, and I'll say initialize a Git repository. Okay, it's doing that for me. Continue with running sync. Yes. I'm not expecting these prompts. I feel under duress, having to make a decision in that moment because I don't really know what's expected of me. I can see they're going green here, so I can see these are syncing with Git, and the fact it's fired up a Git for me is really powerful stuff. I just wasn't anticipating it. When I do my build agent, I'm going to count how many prompts I use. Jerry, that's a great idea. If I had the tools at my disposal, I would definitely have a counter on the screen. I am using a Stream Deck, by the way. It's only a mini one. Don't judge me on that, but it is really good. And when you have it plugged in just in the day-to-day work, you can do things like have your teams. There's plugins for it, so you can have teams like mute, camera on, camera off, raise your hand, react, and so on. So you can actually have it default to different stream setups depending what application is active as well. So if you go into Teams, it will change the Stream Deck, but I can make myself disappear if I think drop this on and off. So I've got these set up so I can switch it back like this, and I've got a chair behind me. I'm tucked in the corner at the moment, so I've tripped on that twice if you didn't notice before, but I could just press a button and switch over. So just testing out the technology. Whoa, the build agent's building and we're vibing here. So it's created a lifecycle orchestrator as a script include. Is there something that's going to actually consume that script include? Really what I would like is a flow designer with some cool actions that just monitor this. Is that what it's going to do? Let me create the fluent definition for the script include. Lifecycle automation trigger. Okay, so it's a business rule. I don't want a business rule triggered. I want a scheduled flow. I want this thing to run like and check every minute. I don't know. That would be inefficient. So it probably does need to batch itself up and run in batches, I guess. Run every 15 minutes. I just got that audio cue. It's just told me here. Approve. Yes, I will. I guess I was thinking of the Git repository as being on GitHub, for example. But it's quite possible to have Git running just locally, I think. So I think that's what it means. But the reason I was saying no to it is because I thought it was going to try and take me off to GitHub, start trying to authenticate and doing that live on the stream. I didn't really want to do. So it's creating a UI action to manually trigger the lifecycle orchestrator. Okay, I mean, that would be fun if we can just click a button and the record gets generated. And then we'll see something as a result of this. But I'm watching the time, I'm watching the clock, and really we want to be wrapping this up. Jerry, great to know that you're using the Stream Deck with Teams. Anything we can do to make Teams a little bit better. I will approve the build and the deployment. So build and deploy it's calling it the final version. I think that's a bold statement from build agent there. I wonder if it has updated the story at all. Let's have a look. I'm trying to find one with the history. Let's open that in a new tab and see. Did he add a work note to the story? It's interesting that this is showing. Is this message? Is this message added to? Is that how build agent is giving me an update on my story? No. Why is that showing up? Very strange. Okay, it was an update on the stack from build agent, so obviously something got triggered there. Any updates on the progress tracking? Nope. Okay, so let's go into build agent, see what's happening. Oh, approve. I thought I'd already approved it. I wonder if clicking approve is a prompt. I mean, technically it is, but whether it's counted as an interaction, I'm not sure. Deployment tracking. Now, what is it doing? Installing. Logs and notifies users when persona state change. I don't really see the need for a persona state change. I think it's misunderstood the assignment slightly there. Business rule set default target table. That's good because we do want that to happen. So notice the agent's forgotten to update the story. Now I have to tell it each time. Feels like a real developer. Feels like real life here. So we've got a scheduling engine. That is great. Automated triggers, concurrent control. I like this. It respects max concurrent runs per life cycle. Creates realistic records using JSON templates. Incident management. See, I don't know what would happen after I close the agent. Is that detail lost? Where does it go? Is there any update on here? Record not found. Okay. Deleted the Scrum task. It's created another one. I think that's a bit naughty. I don't think it should have done that. By the way, if you're a SN Utils user, you can double click on that header just to get a reload of the form. That's always nice. So I've lost my first update now, deleted the entire record. So I think that's a bit naughty of build agent. Active lifecycle. So saying all the good stuff, but let's see it. I want to see it in action. I want to see this thing working. So navigate to life cycles, find the incident management life cycle record, click. So it's actually got steps to test as well, which I think is very close to life. Going to this one and it's telling me what I should do is find the record, trigger orchestrator or create manual run and check the incident table for generated incident data. So I mean this is quite exciting now. I'm into that moment of the big reveal. Let's just go to incident.list before. Just check. We've got 67 records there. It's ordered by updated date about 9 months ago. And incident management lifecycle. I've got a trigger orchestrator. Manually trigger the lifecycle orchestrator. What does that mean? Doesn't like now date time. Use. Okay, there's an error in there. I think I could ask build agent. I can do something like this and say, if I go in there and say when I am on the lifecycle form and click trigger orchestrator, I see the message. I see the error message. Please can you review and fix this? So it's done a set value insert. That looks good to me. It looks like something's happened. So what I'd also want now is a scripted relationship. No, because I won't know what records I was on. I want to see the records that are created. So let's have a look. Lifecycle runs. It says there's something in here. It says there's a record, but I don't see it. How strange. Open a new window. Let's look at all. Is it the ACLs? Are there ACLs on that table? Security access control, Genadata run. I can't drag this out anymore. Lifecycle step, lifecycle run. Admin overrides, that's for create. Just checking that read isn't. Yeah, read's there, admin override, so that should be pretty good. Okay, let's go and see what the agent's up to in here. Found the issue. Okay, excellent. There we go. So he's looking at a script. I can see I'm correctly using throughout the script. The issue might be one of the table definitions. Yeah, okay, so search the files, found the issue, edited it. I mean, this is powerful stuff. There's no arguing here of how incredible this is. Let me identify the specific build error. Okay, it's looking, it's checking. Did it create some incidents though when I clicked it, even though refresh list? No. So when I clicked it, it said it had done something, but it didn't create an incident record. Let me check one of the issues. Use of JavaScript and default values. It's interesting that it's telling me here what it's working on as well. It's changed the default. It's just label opened. Is it removed? Just trying to see what it's done. So let me try to build again. Oh, it's got an error. Fix errors and rerun build. Let me check for any potential issue in our business rule. Okay. Using Glide Ajax to call the orchestrator asynchronously. If you're going to call something asynchronously, why not use a subflow? Why is it not created that logic in the script include? Yes, great. Take the method of the script include, put it into an action, wrap it up nicely so that subflows can consume it as an action. And then the subflow can be triggered asynchronously from a UI action. That's what I would do. I don't think the build agent is on the same page with me there, but I'm not going to consume any further prompts on this one. I'm going to see what happens. If it works, great. If it doesn't, we're going to wrap it anyway. Okay, so this is one last hurrah for Build with Build Agent challenge, and then we'll wrap up and conclude. And I want to thank everybody who's taken part in this challenge so far. The Build With challenge, this is the 4th year that the community, ServiceNow community team have run the challenge. I took part, I think the last time I was able to take part was the Build With App Engine Studio. That was a great challenge as well. Build with, what was last year's? I can't remember, but I didn't take part last year. But this is the 4th year running, and it's a really great way because what it does, it promotes it, it gets it into people's minds. They start thinking about use cases, looking at what everybody tries. It's like a devolved hackathon where everybody's out there trying to build something and share the knowledge, and we all learn together as a result of it. So I would have liked to make this a little bit snappier. Maybe if what's built is any good, I will just do a quick demo so that you can watch it as a summary in the outcome. So Creator Studio. What do you mean, Jerry? Creator Studio. Not sure. Oh, Build with Creator Studio. Yes, Build with Creator Studio. I'm with you. Yes, I didn't build with Creator Studio for the challenge last year, but I saw a lot of activity online. It's just doing his final deploy, and then let's have a look at. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to switch tabs. It's because I've hidden everything just for the stream, so I'm in full screen mode. So recently opened files, that's nice, isn't it? Recently opened apps, I'm in there right now. Server development, other choice sets. Okay, this is nice actually. I don't think I've seen this in ServiceNow Studio before, the actual choice sets being down here. It's always quite an obscure place to find choice sets because typically when you're editing a choice as a developer, you're editing the choice directly in the syschoice table, but they don't get captured as individual records. So each of these records is actually is where you edit it, but it will encapsulate all of the choices into a choice set, and that's what goes in your update set. So seeing choice set down here is actually very handy. I'm not sure if that's missing from the classic studio, but I think what is missing sometimes is the table. So for example, these business rules, I don't know what table they're on, and actually when you've got a consistent naming convention, which I do often, then I would have 3 or 4 business rules with the same name on different tables, and trying to find out which one it is, you've got to kind of remember the order. I do like the ability to bookmark things, especially if you're consistently working with stuff in a certain sprint or on a story. You're constantly in and out of the same file. So that deployment's still running. So let's see. One last hurrah for the Build with Build Agent challenge, and we should be able to wrap it up. I'm hopeful we can wrap it up in the hour and a half. I don't want to be going for 2 hours today. How can we see what's happening down here? Build completed successfully. Deployment circling. Error, failed to build. building info success. There we go. Okay. Oh, it's building again. Some kind of errors. Sync and build. Stage my work. Installation was cancelled. I'm just clicking the blue buttons. This is the danger in privacy settings on websites is a dark pattern. If the option that you want to click, because of the way it's been presented to you, is actually causing you to make a choice that is detrimental to your privacy, that's a dark pattern. And it's actually something that should be avoided in the world of privacy. So, accepting terms and conditions as if you've got no other option, or as if rejecting the invasive option, intrusive option is actually a bad thing. So if they mark it red, for example, that's a dark pattern that we seek to avoid. But I've just felt myself being drawn there just to press the blue button from the IDE without even thinking about it. So install completed successfully. Oh, sorry, I had to scroll down. Warning, you've used 6 prompts. Here we go. I've used 6 prompts. I feel like it was more, but it sounds like it's not actually counting the first one and maybe the interaction with the 1 or 2. So technical changes made, tables updated, ready for testing. Let's try it one last time. Is it going to work? Let's have a look. I'll just reload the form. Right click, reload form, or if you've got SNU tools, you can double click in here. And it's funny that message is still popping up. So we're going to wrap it now. Let's have a look. It's recurring. Every recurring trigger orchestrator. Still doesn't like it. Still get the error message, but it's processed 2 lifecycle triggers now. What does that mean? I've got data in here, but I can't see it. Create a manual run. What happens? Function. No, it's still erroring. Anyway, we've had a go. We've tried. I'm going to say thank you to everybody who's tuned into the stream live this evening. Jerry, especially for being so active in the chat and keeping this session running. It's been really insightful for me. I've learned a lot from the build agent, and I just want to move over into a conclusion. So did it work? Yes, I think we can say build agent works with confidence. It's actually a really nice way of developing, and it will take some getting used to. There's the kind of fear of using up all your prompts. I do feel that is something that was playing on my mind. I'm also getting used to all of the information that's available on the screen. So it is definitely something I can feel that will grow. Getting used to the Fluent schema and how the IDE works and all of the synchronization around Git, all of those decisions that need to be made along the way, and the way to interact with it. I definitely want to thank Earl for sharing the information for the robust prompt template and the session that he did to explain how to take part in this challenge, and that was really helpful. I want to thank ServiceNow community team as well for setting up this challenge, and ServiceNow for making AI available on our PDIs as well. So where's the value here? I mean, there's a number of value drops that I saw. Clearly it's aware of what's going on the instance, so it knows so many things. It knows where to look, it knows where to check, it knows if something's working, if there's unexpected results, and it's able to even interact with records to report on itself as well. I can't believe that it actually deleted the Scrum task though. That's, I think, probably the worst behavior I've ever seen on a story from any developer, is to just delete their last Scrum task and losing all of that history. So that's probably negative value, but overall, I don't think I could have built this app in this amount of time by hand, and I've definitely got something for me to go in and actually start working with. So I'll share more information. I'll do a summary video for this as well that I can post for other people. But this is really what I wanted to say. I just want to say thank you for tuning in to the Value Pattern channel. I'm Philip Swan, and it's been great to have you. So thank you very much, and take care. Have a very nice